What's up, everybody? We have $250 or less modifications. We're gonna go through them, pick out our favorites, and show them to you. What's going on, everybody? I'm JP with Edge Autosport.com. Thank you very much for joining us. We have another video for you today. Hopefully it's going to be super useful to you. I know that a lot of us spend time thinking about what our next modification is, but sometimes, sometimes we don't have a ton of money to spend on a big turbo kit or something like that. Sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes it's just about essentials that you need for your car to take it to the next level or maintain it properly. So we have compiled a list of $250 or less modifications that are our favorites. There are a ton of them. We're not going to hit on all of them today, but there are our favorites, and they are the most effective in our opinion. We're kind of performance guys first and foremost. We like style. We like other categories of parts, but performance is our favorite. So you'll see that we kind of prefer those types of things. So we're going to show you a lot of those today. But regardless, there's a lot of parts out there for under $250. that can make your experience with your Focus ST really awesome, a lot better at the very minimum. And so we're gonna get into those right now. And I'm gonna start off with one of them that is actually far less than 250 bucks. It's a spark plug. There are a lot of reasons why you need a spark plug other than making your car actually work. But maintaining your car, keeping it at optimum power levels, making sure it runs properly. This is the last chain, or the last link in the chain of the ignition system. It's what's sitting inside the cylinder and sparking, every 4 strokes in the engine. So it's getting beat up, it's getting abused, it's getting used. It's very important. So if let's say you bought a used car with 80,000 miles on it, even 40,000, 30,000 miles, it's probably a good idea to just replace the spark plugs, put a brand new set in there, and make sure to, relieve any possibility that the spark plug is causing an issue or making the car not run as well. And sometimes you don't even know that it's not running correctly. But anyway, this is an easy mod to do. Takes a few minutes, few tools, and change out your spark plugs. Make sure you gap them properly. This is an NGK one-step colder, so this is our most popular plug for this platform. Gapped properly, works great in pretty much every Focus ST that we tune and sell parts for. Most popular plug for this platform by far, so this is a good plug right here. Okay, next up is a replacement air filter. So this is a Cobb tuning air filter. We sell a bunch of these guys. It's the same size as stock. You're not really changing the size or the configuration. It's not like putting on an intake or anything like that. This is made to fit in the factory air box, which is nice because it stays sealed, stays cooler, blocking the heat off and everything. But it does add one little thing. This particular filter, not all of them come with this, but it has this top open section with some filtration media up here too. One of the cool things about this is it is going to actually pick you up a little bit of power because of just this right here. That's probably a little bit less restrictive than like a paper filter that comes on the car from the factory. But also you get to kind of hear some turbo noises coming out of here. The factory intake filter is just kind of capped off right here. And so opening this top section up allows you to hear the turbo a little bit better. So that's kind of a cool added benefit of this filter. But it is a good filter nonetheless. It is actually going to pick you up a tiny bit of flow. So we love the Cobb filters. We sell a bunch of these guys. Easy mod to do. Takes 30 seconds. I don't even think it takes any tools really. I can't remember if there's a clamp or anything that you need to put on the intake pipe, but that would be it. So super easy mod to do. Okay, next up in line is Diode Dynamics LED light bulbs. Now Diode is an awesome company. They are located here in the United States. They have a lot to do with the manufacturing and production of these bulb kits and the bulbs. So this isn't just some regular old eBay kit that you're gonna find that might burn out on you too soon, or you don't really know where it came from. Diode is a legit company. They make really good LED products. So these are just a couple of various kits, how they come packaged and everything, just to show you, but they make everything for the car. Interior light bulbs, exterior light bulbs, turn signals, brake lights, a lot of different varieties of stuff that you can just plug and play right into the car. This is a fog light bulb kit right here, super high quality. We've used these on a couple of our projects. You can get different levels of brightness, different colors, all sorts of different varieties of bulbs. And the cool thing about it is that you can probably buy the majority of all these lights for under $250. You can buy like an entire kit for the car, maybe with the exception of like a headlight thing or like a really nice fog light kit. All the other lights combined will probably be under $250. So easy mod to do, and it's going to give you a lot of style factor and maybe even some safety on the street of just having that extra lighting. Okay, next up is some shifter bushings for a couple different parts of the shifting assembly. So what I have in front of me right here are the Cobb bushings. Now there are a lot of bushings out on the market. They're all going to relatively do the same thing, but to understand the difference, these smaller ones go on the inside of the car. These bigger ones go inside of the engine bay at the end of the shifter cable that attaches to the transmission linkage. So I'll say that the other three are not nearly as hard to install as these. I wouldn't call these a super hard install, but it is going to take a little bit extra time. Pulling apart plastic on the inside of the car, getting to kind of the base of the shifter assembly on the inside of the car in the center console. So that is a little bit more involved. If you feel uncomfortable with doing that, you might want to get a buddy or have a shop install it if you want. But I mean, it's not crazy hard. It's just a little bit more involved than the first three mods that we went over. So these are crazy inexpensive, and ultimately what they do is when you are going through the gate, going through the shifts in the car, these are replacing rubber pieces that kind of make the shifter assembly soft and soak up some vibration. So you might realize a little bit more vibration and a little bit, more feedback from the shifter, but as you're going through the shifts and the gears, it's just gonna feel more solid. So super easy mod, really inexpensive, and a good experience mod for shifting. Okay, so next up is the Sound Symposer Delete. You've probably heard or seen something about this. If you don't know about it already, what it is a little plate. All these are aluminum CNC machined plates, very basic. They replace this hunk of plastic in your engine bay. So this thing is made to pump sound into the cabin. Simple as that. If you like a clean engine bay, something like this is completely ridiculous, and you should remove it, like we did on our Focus ST. So that's what all these plates are replacing, is this. So let's get that out of the way. But these are three kits that we have on display right here. A lot of companies make them. In addition to these three right here, we have like JBR. I think Damon makes one. So there's a handful of them out there, but these are the three that I had in stock right here. This is the CPE, this is the Cobb, and this is the Radium. They all kind of come with their own variation of components, but they ultimately do one thing besides block off or take out that big piece of plastic also. You can see in the center of the plate, there is a tap for either a fitting or a plug. So you can plug it if you don't have a reason to use it. The reason why you would need to use that, use a fitting, is if you put on a big turbo, or not necessarily just a big turbo, if you want an external blow-off valve, a mechanical activated blow-off valve, like the CPE Exhale kit or the JBR HKS and Tile atmospheric blow-off valve kits. These are the vacuum and boost source for those blow-off valves, or at least it's the easiest way to do it. So along with deleting that big piece of plastic, it now becomes a functional piece to use on an external blow-off valve if you replace the turbo, or if you just want an external blow-off valve. So that's what these are for. The Radium one, you can see, comes with this plug for the back of kind of the back firewall area where it gets plumbed into the cabin. This plugs it. It's not a huge deal to plug it, but it does make it look a little bit cleaner. So I like that about the Radium. But all these are going to do relatively the same thing. Okay, next up we have stainless steel braided brake lines. This is one of my favorite modifications, being a performance guy, somebody that can appreciate going to a track and having a little bit better feel in your brakes and your performance of your braking system. This is definitely a great mod for the price, for keeping it under $250. Obviously brakes are an expensive thing to do on your car, especially if you're doing new rotors, new pads, or a big brake kit or something like that. But one of the things that you can get out of your braking system without replacing all that is upgrading your brake lines. These are stainless steel braided, so as fluid is traveling through them, they do not expand nearly as much as the stock rubber lines. As you put that pressure on your brake pedal, that fluid doesn't compress. It's got to go somewhere other than, you know, directly to the brake caliper. So once that's maxed out, it starts expanding these lines and doesn't transfer any more fluid. So that's what these are for. It'll make your brake pedal feel a lot more predictable. It'll make it feel more straightforward, give you more feedback, and it won't feel so spongy and soft. It'll be very direct, or a lot more direct, if you're using all other stock components. This is definitely a more involved install. You need to bleed the brake system. So this is not for, you know, a 30-minute, hour-long install over the weekend. This is definitely more involved. So I'll recommend that maybe you should put these on with a set of brake pads that you're swapping out and rotors. So that's probably when you want to do these, but you're more than welcome to do them at any time. But this will definitely get more out of your braking system. All right, next up is Lug Nuts. These are a super simple, easy install. Obviously, you know, you're just taking one set of lug nuts off, putting it on. As long as the wheel style fits what you know the taper is on the lug nut, which this will fit dang near any wheel. There's some kind of funky combinations out there. Hondas have a little bit different stuff, but for the Ford, mostly anything will work, even with a stock wheel. All aftermarket wheels are going to be similar to this design, or make use of this kind of tapered design here. These are Megard lug nuts, which we actually just recently picked up and put on the site. We have Muteki lug nuts, we have Project Kicks lug nuts. We have a variety of colors and styles to get whatever look you're going for done. But these Megards are really, really good, and you can put, you know, locking lug nuts on there to protect, you know, your wheels from getting stolen if you live in an area that's kind of a risky thing for you. So yeah, lug nuts are an easy, cheap way to modify your car, make it look a little bit different, give you a little bit more style and functionality. All right, next up is some WeatherTech floor mats. Obviously, there's a lot of floor mats out there, but WeatherTech is some of the best ones out there, if not the best. They make really, really awesome stuff. These are custom fit for the Ford Focus ST. So there's a couple different varieties that they make. These are the all-weather style. They make the laser fit ones, which are kind of the more cupped, you know, they have kind of the raised edge to retain a lot more water and grimy stuff that might be in your floor mat. But these will get the job done too. Whatever ones you want, they're both on our site. Super high quality, a few different colors, obviously super easy to put on the car. I wouldn't even call it an install, you just put it in. So very inexpensive, well under the $250 range, even if you want the front and the back. So, and obviously if you live in an area like where we are in Denver, Colorado, you know, you're gonna get hit with a lot of winter stuff on the ground when it snows. You know, places like Southern Cal might not need something like this, but the Northeast, anywhere in the North really, anywhere where it rains, anywhere where you're kind of just tracking in a lot of stuff, this really helps keep the interior clean and nice for many years. All right, next up is some short shifting components. So the Focus ST makes use of a couple different shifting mechanisms that can be manipulated to give you a shorter shift, a quicker shift experience. One of them is this Cobb piece right here. Now, I have a JBR short shifter right here. This is a Cobb short shift plate right here. JBR also makes a short shift plate as well. Looks totally different than this, but does the same thing. This is what connects to the shifting linkage inside the engine bay. This is what connects the transmission to the shifter cables. So it's a pretty easy install. There's nothing crazy about it. You can access the engine bay, just inside the engine bay, access this right underneath the intake. This is going to go inside of the cabin. It's going to go inside the center console area. This is what you're actually moving with your hand, rowing through the gears. So two very different pieces, but you can do either one of these by themselves and it's going to shorten your shift, or you can actually combine them and that would give you an insanely different shifting experience, very quick. Some people don't like how quick it can be or how short it can be, and sometimes it even gets a little bit notchy and hard to shift when it's that short, but just depends on what you like, what you're using the car for, what your application is. Either one of these are going to change your shifting experience a lot, and again, well under $250. All right, next up on the $250 and less mod list is the Radium Engineering PCV plate right here. Now this is one of many that we sell. We have a Diamond one that we sell a lot of, so that's a good one as well. It's a little bit different configuration, but it does the exact same thing. If you want to see exactly what this thing does and have me tell you all about it, we've already done a video with this and a dual catch can setup on our car that we have behind me. So check the link above and you can see all about this thing and why you'd want it. It is under $250, so this isn't a mod that you would necessarily do just by itself ahead of all your other bolt-ons necessarily. It's not that important. It's not that effective of a mod for your experience. It's gonna be kind of a supportive mod for doing some catch cans. But if you're on a budget and you can only spend, you know, 150 bucks or 200 bucks or whatever, this is a perfect thing to buy in advance for getting your catch can set up in the future. So really nice kit. Again, check the link above to see exactly what this is all about. Okay, next up on the list are rear motor mounts. So right here in front of me, I have a Cobb, I have a CPE Stage 2 and a CPE Stage 1. Lots of manufacturers make rear motor mounts, Damon Motorsports, JBR. We have a handful of other rear motor mounts available on the site, so make sure to check that out. But essentially what these are gonna do is they're gonna stiffen up the engine as it sits in the engine bay. So as you hit the gas, going down the road, that torque gets applied and it wants to jump out of the engine bay. The motor mounts are holding it together and holding it inside the car. Well, the stock motor mount is really, really soft. And that's what this is replacing right here. This is a solid bushing right here, solid bushing. You know, there's no space inside of it, and the rubber, you know, CPE actually uses rubber also, but it's just a solid bushing instead of one that has some gaps in it or some voids. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna give you crisper shifts. It's gonna lay the power down to the road a lot better. You'll find that the car accelerates and pulls forward a lot cleaner. It doesn't hop quite as much, and you actually do get a little bit better grip. So this is a super effective mod for the money. In my opinion, much more effective than a lot of others that I'll talk about today from a experience standpoint. I love this mod. Very, very easy to spend the money on something like this. A little bit more involved install. You got to get underneath the car, so get a friend to help you, have a shop install it. It's probably about a 45-minute install, something like that, so nothing crazy. We get people calling up all the time asking about, you know, what this feels like, what durometer should I choose, because there's some different stiffnesses between mounts for the same company. For example, CPE has kind of a stiff and a not so stiff. Honestly, you can call us at any time and ask us. We have a lot of experience with these mounts and what they feel like, so if you ever have a question, let us know. But at the end of the day, if you're upgrading your mount and you have a street car, my personal recommendation is get the softer one. It's still gonna be night and day stiffer than the stock one and provide you with exactly what you're getting them out for. I would say you would pick the stiffest ones simply for like just race applications, or if you just want absolutely the most performance and you don't care about any vibration or sound or harshness or anything. Street car, softer, it'll still work great. Okay, next up is Rally Armor mud flaps. These are definitely a very useful mod. I will say some people don't like the look of a mud flap on their car. It's kind of a rally look. It's a different look. On a street car, it's your choice. You know, it's your style, preference, whatever you want. But we definitely see these on a lot of cars, and they're very useful. If you live in an area, again, like us, like in Denver, there are tons of rocks on the road that get just dumped from snow stuff, cars dragging them around everywhere. There's a lot of dust, a lot of rocks on our roads here. If you live in a similar place or harsh winters or something like that where debris is going to be on the road, it's going to get kicked up, it's going to affect your paint eventually long term. So something like this is perfect to combat that. Rally Armor makes a really, really solid urethane flap, super flexible as you can tell, but very, very durable. Their kits are fully bolt-on too. You can see they pre-drill them right here. They have brackets. You don't have to drill anything. You don't have to, you know, do anything crazy or fabricate anything. This thing is ready to bolt onto your car. So Rally Armor mud flaps. All right, next up is the WeatherTech Big Mouth Ram Air Intake. This is a pretty cool piece actually. It's 3D printed. This is a red kind of stack on here, or red mouth if you want to call it that. You could get black if you don't like the look of the red, and actually there's more colors available. We just put the black and the red on our site because that's like the majority of them that get sold. If you don't like the look of the red, you can use the black, and it's pretty, you know, you can't really see it, but if you use the red, you'll know exactly where this thing is going to be sitting. It actually sits, and using our car, it kind of sits right here inside the transition from the engine bay to the front bumper, and you'll see this mouth section just hanging out right where the grill is allowing air in. So it's going to take some air, it's going to send it up through to the air box, and you know, the whole goal of this is to send some cooler air into the air box, which will help you maintain more power, keep temperatures more consistent and lower. And this is just a super easy mod to install. So nothing special. Again, 3D printed, really neat product from WeatherTech. We have a Turbosmart wastegate actuator right here. This is, in my opinion, one of my favorite mods on this entire video because it has to do with power and boost, and that is my favorite thing to talk about and to do. So what this is going to do is replace the stock actuator canister. You know, ultimately it's just about holding more boost throughout the entire RPM range. So it's more consistent, probably fluctuates boost less than the stock actuator, and will ultimately just be able to hold power at the top a little bit better. So, you know, the stock turbo is small and you don't want to wring it out too much, but you know, if you want to wring it out just a little bit more than what the stock one can do from the factory, this is what you want to get. Maintain your stock turbo, get a little bit more response and boost out of it. This is an easy choice in my opinion for making some power, which a lot of us enjoy doing, right? So it's a really, really nice piece from Turbosmart. There's some different bass pressures you can get. Alan loves tuning cars with this because you can get more out of it. They're a little bit more consistent to tune. So Alan always, I hear him always recommending guys to get this stuff. So, so the Turbosmart wastegate actuator. Get yourself one today. Okay, next up we have the Mishimoto catch can kit. Again, a lot of catch can kits available through our website, edgeautosport.com, but this is just one that we picked out from our inventory. So well, I like the Mishimoto can a lot because it does come like pre-fitted, you know, for the car. Custom made bracket to fit in a very specific location, custom made hosing. You can see the bends on the hosing that is specifically for the Focus ST application, and a very, very nice aluminum can right here. If you unscrew this, you can see, you know, there's a nice O-ring around there to make it seal, some nice media in here to make it not, you know, to make vapors kind of stay in there, oil to stay in there. But anyway, if you want to know more about why we recommend a catch can and why we're putting it in this video, like I said on the Radium PCV plate, that video is a great video to digest and learn about why you need a catch can. So this is a PCV side catch can. There's another catch can you can do for the crankcase ventilation. This is the one that we recommend if you're going to do just one catch can. It would be the most effective. So Mishimoto catch can kit for the Focus ST. Awesome mod. Do this early if you want to keep the performance of your car long term. Do this early. Okay, and we are going to come at you with one more mod. This is the last one, certainly not least though. This is kind of an interesting mod. This doesn't get purchased nearly as much as all the others, to be perfectly honest, but I think it's a very effective mod. It's a cool mod to have on your car. The thing is, like, a turbo blanket is really cool, but to look at especially too. I mean, it is super functional, but I like the look of a turbo blanket in engine bay. Unfortunately, with the Focus ST, turbo sits in the back and you'll never see it. So this is purely kind of a functional modification if you want to do it on your Focus ST. It's a turbo blanket. Cobb Tuning makes this thing. It's custom fit for the stock turbo. And I would imagine it would fit any stock style turbo, like maybe the Garrett, like what we have on the car. It's all the same exact turbine housing, you know, configuration and shape and everything. So it probably would fit over that too. But it's definitely made to fit the stock turbo style. You can kind of see this thing is very high tech. We call it a blanket, but it's a very high-tech blanket. It's made to keep the heat inside the turbo, prevent it from going into the engine bay, but also you want to keep heat in the turbo in general. That helps exhaust gases flow. The more heat you can put through the exhaust system instead of letting it exit the exhaust system. You want to keep the energy in the exhaust system. So it is functional. You're probably not going to experience anything different. You know, the turbo spools so fast as it is, you're not going to really experience much with the stock turbo, but it is a good functional mod to keep heat contained in the turbo. So anyway, we like Cobb, we like all their stuff. They make really good functional stuff, so that's why it's on the list. So, and obviously under 250. So anyway, here's everything. We really hope you enjoyed the video. There are a lot of items on the table here in front of me. A lot of them are very, very effective, good style modifications, a lot of supporting modifications for other bigger mods down the road or in between. So if you have any questions, just let us know, put them down in the comments. You can always shoot us an email or call us too. We're here to help you Monday through Friday. So let us know how we can help. Glad to bring this video to you, and we'll check you on the next video. Thanks, guys.